Hello and welcome to Sassy Scrapbooking. In today's video I'm going to show you my step-by-step process to create this really cute Egg-citing card. I saw this card by Heather Lee Reppin, I hope I'm saying her name correctly, on the spring 2015 edition of Scrap and Stamp magazine and decided I just had to try and make it with the Cricut Explorer. So let's get started. Since I don't have the Paper Pretty's Return of Cluck set stamp that was used for the original card, I found my rooster image on the internet and have already uploaded it to the Cricut Design Space. To design this card, I am only going to use a couple of basic shapes. I am going to use a square and a circle. First of all, I want to duplicate the circle image and change the color of the circle to make it easier to work with. I am also going to adjust the size of the circle to 3 inches, and using the arrange icon, I am going to send the circle to the back. Now I can place the rooster image in front of the circle, and selecting both images, I can attach them together. Once the rooster image has been centered within the circle, I am going to select the original circle and duplicate it once more. Next, I want to change the color of the circle to Indian red. I think that this color is closer to the red in my rooster image. And then I want to adjust the size of the circle to 3.27 inches. I know this is an odd number, but I want this circle to be slightly larger than the white circle with the rooster image on it. Next, using the arrange icon, I want to send the circle to back before placing the circle with the rooster image on top. Selecting both the circle images, I want to align them to center and then group them together. Once again, I want to select an original gray circle and duplicate it and change the color. Now, I need to adjust the size of the new circle to be slightly larger than the previous circles, so I'm going to make it 3.5 inches in height and width. With the circle still selected, I am going to send the circle to back and place it behind the previously grouped circles. Once again, selecting all the circles, I'm going to use the align icon and select center. I'm going to duplicate the largest circle a few times as well as change the colors so that I can tell which circle I'm working with. Now I want to bring the chicken image to the front of the circles and group them all together before setting them aside for the moment. Next, I want to take the square image, unlock the aspect ratio, and change the width to 6.5 inches and the height to 5 inches. Okay, now I want to duplicate the square and set it aside for just a second so that I can change the color of the first square to black. I'm going to be changing the colors of my images to try to match the colors of the original card. Okay, let's go back to the gray square and resize the square so that now I have a rectangle that measures 6.25 inches by 1.5 inches in height. Once again, I'm going to change the color of the rectangle, this time to Indian red. In this video, I'm going to duplicate this rectangle one more time to show you the placement of the image pieces, but I'm not going to be using the second red rectangle. To create the center rectangle image, I am going to duplicate the red rectangle and place it in the middle of the two red images and change the color to white. To create the two brown pieces on the original card, I am going to duplicate the white rectangle and adjust the size to 1.25 inches in height. And while I have left the width size alone, I do end up cutting the width by about 1 inch when I assemble the card later in this video. So it's up to you if you want to change the width now or just cut it later. Okay, so let's change the color of this rectangle to brown and place it over the red rectangle. Selecting both the red and the brown rectangles, I'm going to use the Align feature and center the brown rectangle over the red rectangle. Taking a closer look at the original card, I can see the black background color in between the red circle and the red and the brown rectangles. There doesn't appear to be any black background color between the white rectangle and the red circle, so it must go behind the red circle. We won't have to do any slicing with the white rectangle. To create the circle cutouts in the brown and the red rectangles, I am going to move the circles on top of the white rectangles so that I can select both the circles and the white rectangle. Using the Align feature, I am selecting the Center Horizontally option, and now the circles are centered over the white rectangle. Selecting the top circle, I can now use my mouse to pull the circle to the right edge of the rectangles. With the blue circle still selected, I also want to select the brown rectangle and use the Slice feature. Once the slicing has been completed, I'm not going to need the brown cutouts, so they can be deleted. I'm going to take the next blue circle and move it over to the position of the previous blue circle, and with the blue circle still selected, I'm going to select the red rectangle. Once again, I'm going to use the Slice feature to make a circle cutout into the red rectangle. Once the slicing has been done, I am no longer going to need the red cutout circle, so this can be deleted as well. I'm going to remove the remaining circles aside for the moment. Selecting the red rectangle, I am going to duplicate and use the mirror option in the edit box so that I can flip the red rectangle. This is the piece that I'm going to use for the bottom of the card, so I can delete the red rectangle that is currently in its place. Selecting the top rectangle, I am going to use the Arrange feature and move it to back. With the brown rectangle now in front, I want to duplicate and mirror it. This image can now be centered on top of the red rectangle using the Align feature. The circle with the chicken image can now be put in its position on the card. Now to add the text. Using the Add Text feature, I am going to type the first line of the greeting. Then in the edit box, I am going to select the All Fonts option and choose Has a Writing Style. I'm going to choose the Soiree lettering for the font and resize it to fit in the space on the white rectangle. I'd like to duplicate the first text when I'm going to create a second line and want to use the same font and the same size. Then all I have to do is delete the original text and type in the new text, which is what I have done here. Selecting both text lines, I am using the Align feature to align the text to the left and placing them on the white rectangle. To see how the finished card will look, I am going to select all the images, group them together, and place them over the black background card. I think it looks pretty good, so now I'm going to check everything out in the Map Preview screen. Alright, the first thing we're going to do is print and cut out the chicken images. That looks good. The next mat is a black background image. I already have a black card ready to use, so I'm not going to cut this image out. Next are the brown rectangles. All looks good there. Then we have the red rectangles. I'm going to move these around a bit to save on cardstock. And last we have the white triangles with the text writing. Everything looks good, so let's send it to the Cricut Explorer to cut. With all the images cut, I can now assemble the card. To make the chicken image pop out a bit, I'm going to ink the edges of the white cardstock in black. Then using some liquid glue, I'm attaching the chicken image to the red cardstock and setting it aside for the moment. Using some more liquid glue on the back of both pieces of red cardstock, I'm going to attach them to the black base card. Next, I want to attach the white cardstock to the black base card, ensuring that I align the left edges to the red rectangles. Using some double-sided foam squares, I'm going to add them to the back of the red cardstock with the chicken image and center the image on the black base card. Since I didn't have the brown polka dot cardstock, but I still wanted the polka dot style on my card, I ran the brown cardstock through my Grand Calibur using Cuttlebug's polka dot folder to create the raised polka dot texture I was looking for. Then I used my white ink stamp pad to lightly smooth on the white ink to the top of the raised polka dots. Again, using some liquid glue, I can now center and attach both the brown rectangles on top of the red cardstock, and my card is complete. At this time, I would like to take one more moment of your time and thank you for watching my video at Sassy Scrapbooking. Please subscribe to my channel and watch my other videos. I will continue to add new videos as my adventures with the Cricut Explorer continue. Bye for now.